Hi, I'd like to talk to you today about something that most of us really don't like to consider very often. It's called voluntary euthanasia, often referred to in Arizona law as a mercy killing. Now, this is something most people don't like to spend too much time thinking about because no one likes to consider they might be on either end of the scenario. No one wants to consider that their life might degrade to such a point that they might have no other option, no possible road out other than to end their own life, and might have to ask the assistance of a friend or a loved one to do so. And no one likes to consider the possibility that one of their friends or loved ones might come to them with this kind of request. It's just part of human nature. No one wants to think about these things. And unfortunately, that means that we often don't have a conversation about it. Now, Arizona law currently prohibits anything that would fall under the definition of a mercy killing and will prosecute said action with a manslaughter or possibly even first degree murder charge. This does happen. This happens in this state. This happened in the past couple of years. There was a case of one William Swink, who was charged with murder after helping his wife to end her life. There's another case of George Saunders, who went to court for helping his wife, even when the family approved and refused to press charges. So not only will the state press charges, they will press charges even if the family of the perceived victim approves of the action and says that the person in question was doing the right thing and helping to end someone's pain. Now, there are plenty of people who are living with terminal illnesses, degenerative diseases, things where their life is not going to improve. This is never going to get better. A lot of them are in chronic pain. We don't like to think about it, but there are scenarios where this is the only way out of the pain, and that's horrible and that's depressing, but it happens, and by pretending that it doesn't happen, we are inflicting more pain on these people who are already suffering. Now, the way Arizona law currently works, unless their life is dependent on artificial life support and they can opt out of that life support, there is no way to receive any kind of medical assistance for this. Not only would the doctor in question lose their license, they would be faced with the same criminal charges that you or I would if we were going to be participating in something like this. They would get the murder charges, they would get possible manslaughter charges. So this is prison time as well as permanently losing your profession. And this is for any and all cases where artificial life support is not involved. That is the only thing that someone is allowed to opt out of and choose to elect to end their own life. The even worse is the state will actually punish anyone who attempts to do it themselves so that they aren't inflicting this on anyone else and fails. So obviously, if you choose to commit suicide, there's no one to punish. There's no one to hit any criminal charges with. But if you choose to end your own life and fail to do so, and you are rescued in some fashion, not only will you be put under psychological watch, you will be charged with creating an emergency. You'll have to pay for all of the emergency services. You'll have to pay for any medical services that were needed in order to save your life. So not only do you have all of the problems that caused you to want to end your own life to begin with, now you have a significant financial and legal burden on top of that. That's heinous. That's completely unacceptable. We're taking people who are already suffering to this degree and we are making it worse. And we're doing this all in the guise of helping. So, what are the possible solutions here? Probably the most applicable solution, the easiest to actually legislate, would be to loosen the restrictions and to create some kind of legal document or agreement that would allow for this kind of course of action. Some kind of contract that can be signed both by the recipient and by the acting participator. And it would clear, my name is Bob Johnson, and I am hereby certifying Cecil Johnson to end my life, and create a legal protection for people who need assistance and the people who are assisting them. So this would probably be second only to loosening the legal penalties for those who are trying to do so themselves. The most important thing that we could probably go through and most likely to actually be able to pass would be to loosen the restrictions and lessen the punishments that we inflict on those who have attempted suicide. Because if you're really trying to help these people, if you're really trying to make their lives better, you can't possibly think that adding a financial and legal burden to all of their lives' problems is going to improve their scenario. So, what would this look like in practice? What would this do for our society? It would be significantly less strain on healthcare resources. People who were on long-term life support or healthcare and wanted to opt out would be allowed to do so, and those resources could then be redistributed to people who might actually have a chance of improving. It would be significantly less strain on the families of the people who were in these scenarios, these families who want to be able to help end their pain and can't simply because there's no way to do so without huge legal ramifications. And it would promote an overall culture of body autonomy and consent, where someone would be allowed to determine, I am choosing to end my time here because it is my life, it is my body, and I should be allowed to make that decision. Thank you. Have a nice day.